have come to defend my honor. So by now, most anime fans are aware that there is a small little attack on anime, specifically from the PC culture that exists here in America. Now granted, the politically correct culture is known for calling out anything that they find offensive, but this is a little bit different because this is diving into another country's culture, and rather dictating to another country what their values should be. But of course, instead of them flying over to Japan and saying, hey, you should be like us, they're trying to change and alter and censor anime that's being translated overseas to us. And there's a bunch of articles that have been keeping track of this a long time before I started looking into it. There are a lot of situations where Funimation will dub an anime and purposely change the original translation to make it more Americanized, and all they really end up doing is ruining the original meaning. And I've made a whole video about how dub can completely ruin a scene based on a bad translation. But a lot more recently, they've been dubbing things to have a purposely misconstrued translation in order to push a political agenda. One of the most prominent examples of that would be when they pushed anti-Gamergate views into an anime dub. And of course, with the controversy with Catherine Fullbody, they found that there was some content in that deemed transphobic, so they ended up making a statement saying, hey, we're gonna censor and we're just gonna make sure that nobody sees that. But I was first introduced to PC culture's attack on anime when Rising of the Shield Hero came out, and as you know, I am a big fan of that show. I made a whole video about it, how it's one of the best anime of 2019. The reason why there was a controversy over Rising of the Shield Hero is because the main character is falsely accused of rape. And PC culture is very anti-false accusation. They want to believe that we should always believe women, and that women never lie about rape, they have nothing to gain about lying about rape, and of course it's not exactly true. So rather than trying to understand an anime that has a main character who was put through a false accusation of rape, they instead demonize the character and then demonize the writer for even coming up with that story in the first place. And I can understand that there's a lot of panic online that some of their favorite animes could be censored in the US, or they could be cancelled altogether just because there's this big outrage mob who's trying to extinguish these types of views and this type of content that they personally deem offensive, but not everyone does. But here's the thing. Japan doesn't give a fuck about PC culture. The producer of Rising of the Shield Hero himself spoke out about all this controversy that was in the Western culture, and straight up, they told everyone, like, hey, here in Japan, we don't think it's controversial. And I'm sorry that you can't enjoy this great anime, but we love it and we're gonna keep on making it. And it's really great to see the creators of this great anime like kind of stand up for themselves, like, hey, we don't think it's that bad. So I guess it's just you then. And I know that's not always the case when it comes to anime, but for most anime, it's typically the case. If it's doing well in Japan, they're gonna keep on making it. And it is actually doing pretty well in America, despite the controversy. So all those articles that was bashing Rising of the Shield Hero, saying, oh, it's just males, men, and them, and believing that accusations can be false, bad! That didn't do anything to actually stop the anime from being made. It didn't do anything to stop people from watching the anime. If anything, it actually gave it more press and more attention. And then there's these other articles that link anime to fascism. I have no idea. But the real push for Animegate was when Vic Mignogna was fired due to allegations without any concrete evidence. It's a lot more normal nowadays for people to be fired due to just allegations, just he said, she says, and unfortunately a lot of companies have just accepted that as the new standard. Oh, if there's allegations against him, we'll have a press conference, we'll decide whether or not it'll hurt us to keep him or if it'll hurt us to let him go, and then we'll make a decision from that. But Vic Mignogna is an English voice actor. He's over here in America. He's working for Funimation. The problem couldn't be any further from Japan. The problem, I think, is companies getting a little bit too cocky and thinking that they're gonna go in this political direction. And I'm not necessarily talking about like the head honcho of the company. I'm not talking about the CEOs or anything like that. I'm more so talking about the people working for the company who are coming up with all these decisions. I think that they are trying to please their fans, but they just don't have a good idea of who their fans are and what they actually want from the company. A much bigger portion of fans for Funimation wanted Vic Mignogna to keep his job, or at the very least get a fair trial. And as an update on that story, you'll be happy to know that Vic Mignogna has officially reached his goal on GoFundMe for his lawsuit against Funimation. So really, great job, guys. All of the extra money is going to go to a charity. So of course, if you want to keep donating and give to that charity, it's all you. And then of course, more recently, there's been controversy over Alita Battle Angel. I personally do not quite understand this controversy. For some reason, people seem to think because guys want to see Alita Battle Angel, that must make it bad? First of all, I want to see Alita Battle Angel, and I'm worried by the time that Adam gets in contact with me, it's already going to be pulled from theaters because of the whole Captain Marvel thing. My point is this. Anime is never going to be politically correct. There is so much in anime. There's so much that makes anime that's not politically correct. This includes, but is not limited to, overtly sexual content, straight up sexual assault sometimes, mockery of transgender, yes, that is actually a trope in anime. And the funny part is, I'm defending anime, but I have also criticized it for being like super fan servicey, sometimes rapey. And that's always been something that I felt like there was too much of in anime, and I would have preferred it if it was dialed down. And to be fair, like depending on what anime you're watching, that'll dial down. But there's a lot of comedic animes especially, there's a lot of that type of material, and it really is distracting for me personally. It's not that I don't like fan service at all in an anime, but I prefer it to be at a medium or low level. High or hyper levels I just can't deal with. It just distracts me too much. This is just kind of the norm for anime. Anime is known for being really weird, really sexual, really offensive. I mean, for God's sake, have you watched the first episode of Chobits? The girl gets fingered in the end. Have you seen the anime series The Rape Man? It's literally about a superhero who rapes villains. I have a pretty good feeling that the purpose of this series is not to teach anything political. It's just to be funny. It's just to be really off-color and offensive. And some people are gonna look at that series and say, man, we gotta take that down, we gotta dismantle it. It's problematic, it's gonna cause all kinds of problems. And some people are gonna look at it and say, man, that's really fucked up and hilarious. I gotta show that to my friends. It's not the material that's the problem, it's how you deal with the material that can be the problem. But in conclusion, I don't think that anime will become politically correct anytime soon. So unfortunately, the anime feminist articles are being written in vain. And I'm not even really quite convinced that even the people writing these articles against anime believe that anime has to become PC. I don't think that they're actually aiming towards that as a goal. I think they just want to complain for clicks, because if you force something to be controversial, if you make something a problem that's not actually a problem, people are going to want to read all about it, and they do make their money off of those ads. But that'll be it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Comment below what you think about Animegate, what you think about PC culture being introduced into anime. Of course, remember to like the video. Thank you to my Patrons. I have just recently changed a lot of the Patreon tiers. I feel like it's a lot better now. Before it was kind of like wonky. The newest tier at $30, I will actually send you a Patreon exclusive t-shirt that says you are a supporter of DanFan29, and of course you got little anime me jumping in the air with confetti. I've been wanting to make more like t-shirts for the channel. I made 2 like a long time ago. Nobody really bought them. Except for like a few close friends of mine on YouTube. I love you guys. But I'm giving it another shot because I think that having t-shirts that say that you're a supporter is kind of fun, and it's an actual physical object that you get for supporting me, so it'll feel like you're getting more out of the Patreon that way, and mostly I just want to say my thanks. But who knows, I might change the design in the future to make it less, geeky. Thank you guys for watching and supporting me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Program restart.